Very good morning to all the respected colleagues, teacher educators, would-be teachers, and all the organizers of today's program. As organizers have assigned me one topic to speak in today's program, that is core professional competencies for teachers in the digital and inclusive era. So in the next 10 to 12 minutes, we will be focusing on this topic. As you all know that in our education colleges or in the teacher education colleges, we are preparing teachers not merely for the classrooms, but for a world marked by a rapid technological changes. You all know that day by day diversity is increasing and we are living in an uncertain future. We are living in an uncertain environment. You do not know what type of jobs will be offered after 5 years or after 10 years. So teaching today is no longer the only transmission of content. It is a design of learning. It is to create good learning experiences and the cultivation of human values and the ethical use of technology in deeply diverse classrooms. We have to admit one thing, that day by day classes are becoming more and more diverse. And as in NEP 2020 also, the technology is going to play a key role in the coming years. If you will go through that NEP 2020 policy document, you will see that in around 66 pages document, more than 68 times the word technology has been used. So it clearly shows that the policy is going to introduce new courses. The policy is going to motivate you to use technology in your classroom, in your teaching learning process. But here you have to learn one thing, that technology doesn't mean only the audio visual aids. Technology doesn't mean only the PowerPoint presentations. Technology doesn't mean only the video content. Technology has the two sides, hardware approach as well as the software approach. Then comes the system approach and the other approaches. So we have to keep in mind that technology doesn't mean only use of instruments. Technology doesn't mean the use of gadgets. In today's presentation, I haven't prepared PowerPoint presentation intentionally, because I would like to share that if I am not using the PowerPoint presentation, it doesn't mean that I have not used technology. While framing this whole content, while designing this content, while deciding the learning objectives, what type of target audience I am going to speak, all these things are part and parcel of technology, which is part of the software approach. So we need to understand that we have to use technology in a wider sense. And in this digital era and diverse classrooms, we have to transform our teaching learning process. The NEP 2020 recognizes this reality and places a teacher at the very center of the educational transformation. It is rightly said that even the best of the curriculum are bound to fail unless quickened into the life by the good teachers. So जब तक आप उस करिकुलम को, आप उस पॉलिसी को क्लासरूम में इंप्लीमेंट नहीं करेंगे, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू गो एट द ग्रास रूट level or at a ground zero level. However, policy intent alone cannot transform education. Professional competencies of teachers can do it. Few years back, NCT has identified few competencies. 10 core competencies were identified. But nowadays, in context of NEP 2020, we need to redefine those competencies. Today, I wish to engage with you not as an instructor, but as a fellow teacher educator, reflecting on what kind of teacher professionalism is required in the digital and inclusive ways, how we all can work together to create a good learning environment. So I have not used word skill, I have used word competency, because a skill can be trained. When we talk about the competence, a competence integrate knowledge, skill, attitude, ethics, and judgment. So competence is a wider term. It also includes skill, but along with skill, it includes knowledge, attitude, ethics, and judgment. So when we are talking about the competencies, NEP 2020 and the global framework like OECD, UNESCO converge on one point. That one point is teachers must be adaptive professional, not routine practitioner. So चाहे आप NEP 2020 की बात करें, चाहे अदर ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क की बात करें, all are converging on one point, that is teachers must be adaptive professional, not routine practitioner. Thus I will focus on four core competencies that redefine teacher identity today, each illustrated through some examples. First of all, I would like to talk about the ethical reflective professional competence. That is the first, ethical reflective professional competence. It is the most critical competency of a teacher today is ethical judgment grounded in a reflective practice. In the era of data driven assessment, we know that each and everything is defined by the data. The person, the country, the state who has the data is the king. So AI tools and performance metric, teachers must continuously work for what? To decide whether this practice is equitable. Is it creating a digital divide? Then, am I responding to diversity or suppressing it? Whether I am using this technological instruments, this technological era as a source of inclusivity, or I am suppressing the diversity. So we need to think ethically. We need to give ethical judgment grounded in a reflective practice. So in this AI era, in this a digitally driven education system, we need to think that whether this practice is equitable or not, we have to think on this issue. For example, in a school, a teacher noticed that digital assessment consistently disadvantages some of the student, some of the first generation learner. So rather than blaming the student or the learner, teacher can redesign assessment formats, introduce oral reflection, and slowly moves to the technology like we do in a read in psychology, that is scaffolding. So he can scaffold digital literacy instead of pressing on that part of technology. He can slowly move to the technological aspect. Then this is a professional ethics in action, not theory. So we need to put this professional ethics in action, not only in theory. So this is my first humble submission, humble request to all the would-be teachers to uh, work on this aspect. The second, I would like to talk about the pedagogical competence for deep learning. Now, pedagogy in the digital age is not about using technology, but about using it purposefully to promote higher order thinking. We have to promote the higher order thinking. So NEP 2020 strongly reject rote learning and calls for experiential learning, calls for competence-based learning, calls for assessment for learning, not of learning. As we have some papers in all in B.Ed curriculum and DLED curriculum also, that nowadays we are focusing more upon assessment for learning, not of learning. So our pedagogy should be inquiry driven. Our pedagogy should be experiential based. So we have to work on these issues. So this is my second humble submission in context of core professional competencies for teachers. So when we come to the third competence, that is a digital competence with human sensitivity. The digital teacher is not a technician, but a pedagogical decision maker. The true digital competence include selecting appropriate tools, then ensuring the accessibility of that tool. Then comes maintaining the data ethics. It is very important nowadays, the ethical use of the data. Then preventing digital exclusion. As I have said earlier also, we have to prevent digital exclusion. We have to keep in mind all the student in our classroom. If I would like to take one example from the school, for example, a teacher uses a blended model of teaching learning process. The online quizzes for immediate feedback, offline peer discussion for conceptual clarity, alternative assessment for student with limited access. Technology here serves the pedagogy, not the other way around. So we have to keep these things in mind. So NEP 2020 vision also says that we have to use blended learning, we have to use a digital repository, we have to use a teacher readiness for future classroom, but we have to keep in mind that all these technological things should be used with a human sensitivity by selecting the appropriate tool, by preventing the digital exclusion. The fourth point I would like to focus that is a inclusive competence teaching every learner. That is very important in today's time because we know that inclusion is not limited to the disability. As compared to Ludhiana, the Mumbai has a much more sophisticated, much more developed system to understand the concept of inclusivity. I have seen so many good practices in Mumbai in context to inclusiveness. So here, inclusion today is not limited to disability. It includes linguistic diversity. When we are talking about the NEP, NEP is saying that we have to promote all languages. So we are going to teach in a diverse classroom. So we have to accept the language diversity. We have to accept the socio-economic diversity. We have to think about the emotional and mental well-being of the student. We have to keep with the pace of the different students with a different learning style. We know that all the students are not with the same learning style. So we have to pace with the learning style of the students. So an inclusive teacher always design flexible learning pathway. He also uses universal design for the learning UDLs. Then he build emotionally safe classrooms. So we all should work together for creating such type of classroom where inclusivity should be promoted, where all type of learners can learn in a one classroom. For example, in a multi-classroom situation in a school, the teacher allows initial response in the home languages. They can speak their home languages. Then peer translation support can be provided to those students. Then visual and activity-based learning can be used so that their home language should be developed along with the course language or the classroom languages. So the outcome is a participation without fear among the student. Slowly, all the students will come at one platform, learn from each other. Teacher will support the student. So we need to develop such type of a classroom. And our NEP 2020 also makes one commitment that we should provide equity, access, and quality education to our students. So all the would-be teachers should keep in mind that whether they are providing equity, access, and quality. Then support for first generation learner. We have to keep in our mind that whenever we are teaching in the classroom, we have to give special focus on the first generation learners because otherwise they would be sidelined in the digital era. So we need flexible curriculum, we need flexible assessment system to address all the diversities in this digital era, and we have to include all type of student in our classroom. So here the teacher should work as a change agent. When we integrate all these competence, a powerful image of the teacher emerge. The teacher who is ethically grounded, who is pedagogically skilled, who is a digitally learned, and who is inclusively responsive. So we need to develop such type of teachers who can not merely prepare students for exams, but for citizenship, but for employment, but for a lifelong learning, aligning directly with the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. So in the end, I would like to say only two lines that a teacher educator and a principals our responsibility is profound. Whether you are a teacher or a teacher educator or a principal, our responsibility is profound. We are not producing degree holders. We have to keep in mind that we are shaping the professional conscience of future teacher educators. So with these words, I strongly believe that all the students who are in the journey of becoming a teacher will work on these professional competencies in context of NEP 2020 as well as the global framework to address both the issues digital era in teaching learning process or in a school education as well as the inclusivity. So with this word, I'm really thankful to the organizers for giving me this platform to interact with all of you within a limited 7 to 10 minute time. So I have tried to convey the basic idea which I would like to share with you people, because we all know that technology can make you, technology can break you. So with the high hopes that all the teachers, would-be teachers, will try to understand these two dimensions. One is a digital era, second is inclusivity, by adopting all these competencies in their day-to-day life and in their teacher behavior. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.